With me now is James "Lights Out Lilley. James, you're going to be working tonight with me on the commentary on this BKB show promoted by Freaks of the Ring Promotions. However, you have been very busy yourself fighting in, well, I'll leave you tell us what you've been doing.
Yeah, so the last fight was the bare knuckle in the O2. Before that was MMA. I'm hoping to fight on one of these BIBA shows soon. So, you know, I like to keep myself busy, to be honest. It's the most active I've been since I turned pro. You know, when I was with the BBOFC, you don't get as many fights presented to you. You can't go on the road if you're too dangerous. So stuff like this tonight, you know, it gives like fighters the opportunity to, you know, do boxing and do other things. So I'm trying to be as active as possible, to be honest, because you know, I'm getting on a bit now. It's taking longer for me to heal from the fights. So, and you know, I got 2 little children now, so I'm hoping to get the end of the year with, you know, being the pluses on the wins, and then see what's offered to me next year. You know, I love the sport. You know, when you asked me to come down to do tonight, you know, I leaped at the opportunity because, you know, anyone corners me at any other events, you know, weddings, whatever, they always talk to me about boxing. So getting to do it so people can listen, you know, it's a great shout for myself.
Quite a few people were surprised when they saw your name linked with the bare knuckle boxing, because they know you're a gloved boxer and you do MMA as well. Why did you decide to get involved in the bare knuckle?
To be honest, with MMA, you know, it's more dangerous. You know, you've got elbows, you've got knees. You know, the boys can tie you up with knots on the floor. And I was looking at some of the boys, you know, who were fighting on the bare knuckle boxer. We had Sean George on my podcast, and you know, we were speaking to him, and when he was explaining to me the rules, I thought, you know, that some of the rules are what boxing's missing. So I thought, no, I wouldn't mind to go at that. Watch some of the fights, and I didn't think the boys, you know, on the bottom rung of the ladder were on my level. So I thought, you know, I'd beat them easy. So I contacted Jim, and I went from there. You know, it's more brutal than anything I've ever done, I'll be honest with you. You know, I went all day with a family with 2 black eyes, cuts on my face, but also the way they run it is like probably what, you know, I've never experienced a top tier of professional boxing, like on Sky and you know, Frank Warren shows. But you know, at the O2, the first time I fought, I met Frank Bruno, Robin Reed. There was 2 ex-UFC fighters there, so you know, it's all like ex-pros and things. So, and I said, I'm knocking on a bit now, and they're not the youngsters, so you know, it's a great opportunity for me to be part of a growing sport. They've just gone mainstream with Vice, so you know, I want to be on the ground floor. I want to be one of the pioneers of that type of sport.
The fight you had yourself, I got to say, was one of the best fights of the night. I mean, I was there working for the BKB as well. Technically a really good contest. I think it was your opponent, if I remember rightly, he won the first 2 rounds probably. You probably won the last 2 rounds, and it was the 3rd round. That was where the fight was won or lost, I think. That was the way most people saw it.
Yeah, I've only watched back the first 2 rounds. I forgot to tape it myself, but after the first round, I felt I more or less gave the round away. He caught me with 2 big left hands. Both my eyes were cut. I had blood running in my eye, couldn't see. I come back to the corner and I felt beat up. Second round then, I think I woke up about 30 seconds into it, and I took over the second part of the round. But as you said then, the 3rd round was you know, a give me round. It could have gone to anyone. And the last 2 rounds he was gassed, and I pretty much won it on the jab. But when I watched the fight back, I didn't think I'd done as badly in the first as I first perceived. And I listened to the commentary, and Jim said that the judges gave it to me, and I thought that was his best round. So, you know, it was a strange one. I didn't perform like I should have. The last 2 weeks of camp, I'll be honest with you, I had a few things come up where, you know, although I wasn't drinking and out partying, I was still out quite late. I had like weddings and stuff to go to, and I think it put me off a bit with my job. I work away sometimes, and I think I cut a couple of corners in camp, and I made him look better than he was. And that's no disrespect to him. I think he's a good fighter, but you know, I think I'm a couple of levels above him. But I didn't show it on the night, so yeah, I would have argued if it had gone his way. It was a close fight, but you know, as you said, it was probably a round in it. So I got the win. That's the main thing. Healed up now, so hopefully get out with MMA in October, and then I'll look for January for the next BKB.
Would you be interested in a rematch with your previous bare knuckle opponent?
Yeah, I offered it to him after. You know, I'm not on Facebook or, you know, anything. I'm only on Twitter. I don't do any of the other social media. And a couple of the boys sent me photos saying, you know, him and his fans were, you know, a bit peed off of it, and he basically said that he didn't want a rematch because it would put him in a worse position because he could have won that fight, which is fair enough. I don't want to rematch a southpaw anyway. It was hard work, but you know, the option's there for him. I'd prefer it to be for a title, one of us win a title down the line. But I said, you know, if he doesn't want to do it, he doesn't want to do it, and I can understand where he's coming from. You know, if he thought it should have gone his way and it hasn't, and he loses again, you know, he's going to drop the thing. You know, he's come out of that fight with a lot of respect. So. And I think he knows I'd be better the second time round. But if he wants to do it, I'm happy to do it. You know, I'll fight wherever they tell me to fight. I'm not one of their superstars yet, so I don't get to choose. So if they say I've got to fight them, I've got to fight them.
Most people, they stick to one combat sport. I mean, they're either in boxing, they're MMA, or they do like martial arts. Whereas you are a bit like a utility football player that just does a bit of everything, or an Ian both. You're the Ian Botham of the combat sport world, because you just do a bit of everything. Why is that?
To be honest, you know, obviously boxing was my bread and butter. It was my first love. Turned pro with the boxing, but I don't want to, you know, sound like I'm, you know, slagging off the boxing too much. But the way it is in Wales with the pro boxing, it's very rare to get opportunities and to make it, you know, unless you're further east, you know, Cardiff and Newport. You know, Swansea hasn't got much in ways. And there wasn't that many opportunities. And years ago, my friend John Phillips, I was living with him, and he said, "Oh, why don't you try MMA?" He said, "You know, most of the guys won't stand up with you." So I got into MMA through him. Had a break when I went to concentrate on the pro boxing, and then I was waiting around for 2 years for a fight. And Dino Gambitesa put on an MMA show and said, "Do you want to fight on my show?" So I did. Got back into MMA. Eventually got a suspension from the British Boxing Board of Control. So, you know, boxing, you know, I feel I'm fit for any time. You know, I could go out after you tonight, have a few pints, and I'd still be able to do the sparring in the morning, and that's just because I've done it from such a young age. But I just want to be as active as possible. I enjoy MMA because it's a challenge. It's a lot easier in MMA to get at the top guys, because, you know, they hear about, you know, they can fight a bare knuckle boxer or an ex-pro boxer, and they want to do it, and it's easier to get at them. Unless they're signed to, like, you know, UFC or Bellator, it's quite easy to get to the top guys domestically, which I don't think it is so much in boxing, you know, with the promoters, the politics. So I just want to be as active as possible. So if it means I got to fight MMA, I got to fight MMA. If it means to be bare knuckle boxing, bare knuckle. If it's BIBA, I'll fight BIBA. You know, I'm here to win, so I'll train for all of them, and I'll just take what comes my way.
In all your combat sports you've been involved in, what's been your toughest contest?
I'd say my last two fights, well, there was Coleman there for the MMA Budo European title. That was a tough one because I got myself in the position because he was the European champ. He'd beaten a couple of Welsh boys. He was a known fighter. I think he was ranked top 20 in Europe at the time. And I got the fight by basically, you know, getting onto him on Twitter, just onto him all the time. Because I saw gaps in his game that I thought I could exploit. But he changed his game up and was taking me to the ground a lot more. So that was a tough fight. Then the last MMA I had in July on the Adrenaline in the Grand Theatre, that was fighting one of the top amateurs who'd had one pro fight. So I knew it was going to be hard. He was a stand-up fighter. That was hard because he was so explosive, you know, cut my eye open with a knee, which got the fight stopped. And then my last BKB, because BKB is just brutal, even if you're not in with, you know, a good boy. You get one punch, can cut your eyes open, you know, you can hurt your hands. So the last fight was probably the one where I felt in there, you know, I was tough. You know, I fought some really good pro boxers, but I've never been in there thinking, right, I'm hurt here, you know, that I've got to do something about it, like, you know. So it was the last one, yeah, it was a really tough fight, to be honest, and that's why I wanted them to rematch. You know, the crowd enjoyed it, like you said yourself, you know, we thought it was one of the best of the night, so, you know, I can't see why we can't do it again.
Okay, that's, we're getting close to the start of the boxing here, so we're just going to wrap up our chat show. James, you mentioned that you're on Twitter. How do people contact you or follow you? What's your Twitter handle?
It's the Lights Out 1. You'll probably see a photo of me or see me getting into arguments with other pro boxers or calling opponents out. So just type in the Lights Out 1, or you can look for Turn the Lights Out podcast. That's the old podcast done. There's links there. And, you know, I'm quite active on Twitter. It's the only social media I do. So if you need to follow me or get any fight news, hit me up on that.
Just out of interest, what type of things do you argue about on Twitter?
Twitter seems to give everyone a platform. So even like, you know, I hate the word casual boxing fan because it's the same as saying, you know, you only go to watch your local football team if they're playing Man United. You know, we need casual fans, but it's usually getting into arguments with them. I've got into arguments with, you know, higher up boxers than myself over certain things. Spoilt a couple of fights for the Americans. There's been on time delays. You know, it's just fun and games, isn't it, Twitter? It's not the real world, so so I just like to get on there and just you know, mouth off a little bit.
What's the biggest misconception a casual fan, if you want to call them that, has about boxing or combat sports in general?
I find a lot of matchroom fans at the moment on Twitter. I wouldn't say they're deluded, but I think because you know, Matchroom have got Sky Sports, and Sky Sports is the most widely seen sports channel, so they'll believe what those, you know, professionals will tell them, and they're on a wage. And then if someone says something about like a Frank Warren, they, you know, like everyone writes off Tyson Fury because they're believing in Anthony Joshua, which is fine if you're an Anthony Joshua fan, but you can't write off someone who went over to Germany and beat the guy who's undefeated for 10 years and dominated. So I think the biggest misconception is just putting yourself with one group. If you just tune in to watch Sky Sports pay-per-view or just watch the Sky shows, then you can't think outside the box. Whereas, like, you know, myself, I've got no affiliation, so I like to watch Sky, I like to watch BT. I'll try and stream the American shows, you know, as much as I can. So I think it's just people sticking with one promotion.
Right, very quick now, because the boxing is about to start. I think I can put you on the spot. It's Saturday now. This is probably going to watch this on a Sunday. Anthony Joshua's fighting in about 4 hours' time. Who's going to win and how? Very quickly.
Joshua, I think by KO. I think Volk going to put up a good fight, but Eddie Hearn's not stupid. He's building towards something in March, and he's not going to risk his cash cow. So it's a dangerous fight, but I think Joshua easy.
Right, then I'll put you on the spot again. It's been announced the date. Fury against Wilder, 1st of December. They're yet to announce a venue. Who's going to win that one?
I hate to say it, but I think Wilder. I think it's too soon for Fury. I think he'd need at least another fight with a top 10 opponent, and I think it's too soon because his last 2 fights didn't really push him. So I'm going to say Wilder, and I think he'll stop him late.
And if it does happen, who wins between Joshua and Wilder?
I'm going to have to sit on the fence in this one. I think it would be Wilder late, because I think Joshua's, you know, those big swinging punches, but I think Joshua could, with his orthodox style, stick one straight down the pipe and stop him, because orthodox boxers will beat wild swingers, but wild swinging punchers have always got that one chance. So I think if Wilder's going to win, it's going to be late. I think if it's going to be Joshua, it'll be early, it'll be an upset, like first, second round.
So you've said Joshua's going to win and Wilder's going to win. So who's going to win?
I'll go with Joshua. Even though I'm a Wilder fan, I'm going to have to go with Joshua. My head says Joshua.
Okay, thank you, James. If you're watching this interview, don't forget you can catch this Bibber card via Nothing Else on TV. Type it in on Google, and we'll see you all again.